Hey everybody, welcome to Unscripted Access. I'm your host, Bronson Fiore, because our good friend Nick McCandless had to take care of an emergency.
Boo.
So now the inmates run the fucking asylum. Alright. Kyrie and I have taken over.
Nyeh, 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 nyeh.
Oh no, what shall I ever do?
Honestly, if Kyrie and I took over this site, it probably wouldn't change much out of laziness.
Honestly, I would probably just post a bunch of videos of cats. Be like, did you guys see this one yet? Surprise kitty!
I would change our color scheme to pink and black.
I'll still be here to stop you from doing that.
See, that's the thing
What's going to happen is that the whole site's going to become increasingly lazy, and then I have to be team mom and get everybody's, productivity back up.
I will have. Hey, I have been especially motivated recently. I have done that. In fact, I'm working on a review right now, and if we get a copy, I'll be reviewing Donkey Kong. And I'm not sure I'll be able to finish Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns before my GameFly subscription runs up, so I may just have to write an impressions article. Anyway, this is a show about. But I'm also joined by the wonderful Kyrie Hale.
Hi.
And the charming Anthony Ta.
Hello.
How you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
It is a good Wednesday night. We had some rain over the weekend. It was fantastic over here.
Rain.
Uh,
You know what? We've been having snow and ice.
I envy
I
you.
wish the city got more snow, but because we live on the wrong side of the mountain and it's been really dry the last few years, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah,
Come here. Take some of ours. We have plenty.
just load it up in a truck to drive.
Honestly, we don't have anywhere
a truck
else
isn't
to put
enough.
it.
Okay, like if you load it into a truck, that only covers like one person's puny little lawn.
No, we load up like multiple trucks, like semis. There we go. Well, like here's the thing: because of this drought we've been having, like those 3
It's not a
days.
drought. It's just rainy instead of snowy.
Well, no, like in general though, like that 3 days of rain is the only precipitation we've had since that big snowstorm, that like 2 day snowstorm in early December. Like when this summer hits, this entire town is gonna combust. It's just gonna light on fire.
I'm sorry, what town is this?
Reno, Nevada. Hell on Earth. So close to hell
okay.
you can see sparks.
Oh, if you really wanted it to be hell on earth, there are other places.
Yeah,
Albuquerque,
Arizona.
for example.
Yeah. But no, like
Like if you really wanted hell on earth, you would live in like Phoenix, Arizona, or Albuquerque.
I have relatives in Phoenix, and I laugh so hard every time I've been down there to see them because like we go visit them in the winter, and it's like February, and it's 72 degrees and raining, and they're getting out hoodies. And it's hilarious.
Oh, that reminds me of that. I forget what that show is called. The Jimmy something show.
Fallon?
Maybe? I don't know. It was just
Like a
show
talk
that
show?
it got a little bit cold in Los Angeles, like 45 degrees, right?
Uh-huh.
And all the news channels were going, it's cold, cold, cold. It's thick jackets, gloves, and boots as these children go outside to practice for some soccer. And the rest of the country is laughing at these people because it's like, you really think 45 is that cold?
Did you hear how freaking Georgia is like shutting down the whole state of Georgia because they were getting like an inch of snow or 2 inches of snow?
Well, like,
They're not used to it.
They're not used to it, so this goes back to the Seattle thing. I have a couple friends who live up in Seattle, and a couple of them are from Reno and going to DigiPen. And they cannot, so they're used to Reno, where unless it snows at least a foot, you're going to work, you're going to school, everything's happening. But like if it snows like 2 inches up there, just everything fucking shuts down, and no one knows how to drive in it. So I guess it's how often you're ready for it, because it doesn't snow that often in Seattle. It's just constant fucking rain. So I mean, when it does snow, it's like, oh my god, the world is ending.
True.
So Georgia, a place where it's like the deep south never even hears of snow.
Yeah, it's
So
just lots of warm-ish weather.
like hot, it's hot all the time. And when it's not hot, it's raining, and it's raining hot rain. So you know the deep south never fucking even sees it. So it's just yeah. So you just end up with like yeah, they're surprised. They don't have chains on their fucking. They don't have chains or 4-wheel drive. They're not ready for any of this shit. And I mean, how often they drive in it? Like Anthony and I have been driving in snow since we learned how to drive.
Mm-hmm.
So we're ready to go. Someone in Georgia, if it snows, they're skidding all over the place. So
Yeah.
It's just so silly because like they get like half an inch of snow and they like evacuate the state of Georgia, and I'm just like sitting here in like 8 inches of snow, and I'm like, seriously, swear to God, they evacuated.
So basically they evacuate during hurricanes, but they also evacuate when things get a little icy.
Yep.
What?
Yeah. Well, I've been told it's because the state of Georgia only has 8 snowplows, like the whole state of Georgia. But I don't know. Apparently, like a little flurry is like reason to just freak out.
yeah, see, it like once again, it comes to it's about where you're from. It's also why like that's also why like living in Reno, it was my whole the majority of my life. It's been when it comes to weather, like we have everything. So Reno just never ever really shuts down. So when I eventually move out of here and go to a place that's extremely hot or extremely cold, I'll just be like, you guys are sissies. Unless it's like Wisconsin, where fucking people in Wisconsin are hardcore, man. Just like, oh man, 5 feet of snow. Yeah, we're still going to work.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Hell, that's nothing.
Like to them, that's normal.
Yeah.
They know how
So this is a video game podcast.
I don't trust
Actually,
anybody.
there's something I do want to talk about that I always find entertaining. In Reno, when it snows, it usually doesn't snow enough to the point where it is catastrophically bad.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever like a little bit, like when you get like a little layer on the ground, everyone's like, 4-wheel drive, big SUVs, gotta get out the big 4x4 and turn on 4-wheel drive. And here I am driving this normal sized 4-door car, just pedaling along with all season tires. And I'm just like, yo, I'm keeping up with you guys just fine.
Yeah, no. So I don't.
As long as I don't drive up a hill, I'm good.
My car's 4-wheel drive, but it's still not that big, and it has no horsepower. I mean, you could probably like have like it has the horsepower of 2 donkeys pulling a cart. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
donkeys.
Like that should be the image for this podcast is my car. 2 donkeys pulling a cart.
2 donkeys pulling a broken trailblazer.
Yeah, basically. I mean, like that thing goes 0 to 60.
Your steel wagon makes for a very good spacious cart.
Yeah, well, okay, so there are some advantages to that car. 1, its gas mileage is decent. 2, it's incredibly roomy. And 3, no one ever looks to steal shit in it. Because it's so crappy. So I've left my doors unlocked with like super high end valuables in it, and no one even thinks about it. It's that much of a piece of shit. Like if you like Anthony's car is the one you would break into.
Thanks, Bronson.
I'm sorry, but it's true.
Bronson.
Did he hint everybody?
No. Yeah.
Even then, it's not that nice.
Yeah.
And I don't keep valuables in there anyways.
Yeah.
All you're going to find is like a bunch of paperwork.
That's my car. You would just find garbage. I have been really recently. I have none of my driving has been for fun, so I haven't had to cart anyone around in it. So I've just been throwing my garbage on the floor. It's just fucking dumb. It's just fucking horrible. I really need to clean it. It's just, oh god.
You find the weirdest crap in my car, honestly. It's like not even gross. I don't have garbage. I just have weird stuff. I have acrylic nails from when I got acrylic nails this one time, and I just got annoyed with them, and I just took them off, and I never knew where to put them, so I put them in my car.
See,
and I just keep finding them everywhere.
That's how it was when I was working at my grandfather's shop, and we were cleaning it out. Like, there'd be like awesome stuff I'd want to keep, and I'd put it in my car, and I wouldn't take it out of my car. So like, people would be like, "What? Why do you have like this jewelry, or why do you have this hat, or why do you have purple sandals just sitting in your car?"
Yeah.
Though that actually ended up being helpful once because my friend Quinn and I went swimming, and he wanted to be able to walk on like these, the rocks on the beach to get into the water, but he didn't want to get his shoes wet. And I'm like, yeah, there are purple sandals in the back. I think they're really big women's sandals, so should be able to fit. It was funny. Anyway, this is a podcast about video games.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Everyone complains that we intro this show talking about random bullshit. Just everyone.
Ooh, well, we're not exactly the daily news program, are we?
No, we are not. We are not First off, if this is bad, then you can blame the habit from Rooster Teeth and Giant Bomb.
This is horrible.
Most popular gaming podcasts.
Bronson, you and I are trying to get degrees in journalism. We're terrible at this job.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. No, like a friend of mine who I actually was in class with is gonna start working for a new magazine coming out soon, and she told me this, and I'm just like, oh, that's fantastic, and I just thought, like, man, if you or I got a job as actual journalists, like and I mean like for a publication that wasn't gaming, like it would just be such a bad thing. But video games. So anyway, we should open up with the news. Titanfall beta signups have started. The official announcement trailer is on YouTube, and the headline says, basically, it's a closed beta. You apply for either the Xbox One or the PC, and yes, the PC version does require Origin. You basically just go on
EA, and they highly insist that Origin is a very strong competitor to Steam with tens of millions of users. Okay, I'm going to keep stressing this point. EA, the reason why you have tens of millions of users is when you force people who want to play Battlefield 4 or Mass Effect 3 or any recent EA game on a PC, you force them through Origin. So don't use that bullshit, we are competitive to Steam, because you forced people to sign up.
I mean, it's basically rape, is what it is. I mean, you are literally forcibly making me use your dumb ass client, and it's annoying. And yeah, but I want to play Titanfall, and if I have the money to buy Titanfall, I will, and I'll play the living crap out of it. But yeah, man, just being forced to use Origin sucks. Yeah, but they also released the specs for the game also. It can run on pretty lean settings, to be honest. Not gonna lie, it is not a world beater kind of game. So for the CPU, on minimum settings, you're looking at a Core 2 Duo. And for a video card, you're looking at an NVIDIA GeForce 8800 GT and 4 gigs of RAM. But you do need a 64-bit operating system. So no Windows XP for you. On
Windows XP?
Yes, no Windows XP for you.
First off, if anybody's still using Windows XP, why? I get that Windows XP is, quote, great, but the thing is that having used that operating system somewhat recently, it has not aged well. Windows Update is a mess to work with. That thing is a 2001 operating system. It's archaic, it's ancient, it's not very future-proof, and yeah, it's just not very good. And you know what? Microsoft is stopping support for it this April. So by this April, you're not getting any more security patches on the thing. And yes, Windows XP is great for its day, but it's not that good anymore. Yeah, that's basically it.
So,
not to mention, also with Windows XP, you only get like DirectX 9, whereas a lot of games today use 10 and 11. So,
yeah. All right. Well, the recommended specs make a lot more sense. For processor, you need a Core 2 quad at 2.6 gigahertz or better. You need a GeForce GTX 560 and 8 gigs of RAM. So
yeah, that actually doesn't seem too bad, actually.
That's not horrible. Like, I was expecting just, oh my god, Rome is going to be burning. This day, like, I was expecting, like, oh man, like, is my machine not going to be able to run it?
Well, you have to remember this is kind of like an Xbox One game also. It isn't like, I don't know. I think it's because, like, since the Xbox One kind of uses the same-ish architecture.
Yeah.
And the fact that an Xbox One, because it needs to be cheaper, isn't as powerful as a top-end PC today, I think that kind of helps system requirements a bit.
Though, I'm looking forward to seeing what that game looks like on max settings on Alex's computer.
I'm interested in what that game looks like when you turn everything to minimum. Because one of the things because obviously what you see in the promotional material when it comes to PC games is you see the highlight reel, this is the best a game can look. However, they never really tell you what's the worst the game can look.
I know for Titanfall, all the footage they've been doing has been the Xbox One version. So and that's probably what the recommended specs are, or I imagine anyway. So I don't know. You and I are going to be able to run it fine, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'll run it on like medium or high settings. So, something like
that. I imagine that the recommended settings is probably high. Like, that seems about right. Different developers have different opinions on that. And usually recommended settings are typically overkill, I've found. They're typically like, this is how you get it to run 100% perfectly at all times with vertical sync on, which I don't know anyone who plays PC game with vertical sync on unless they're just getting horrible screen tearing. And the only game I play with vertical sync on is Team Fortress, and that's because the frame rates I get are so high that it just causes horrible screen tearing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Titanfall looks legit. It looks like a great game. I want to play it. I'm not the thing is I'm not willing to pay $60 for a multiplayer only game. So I'm gonna have to wait for it to drop in price, or I want to try it, but it's a matter of not paying that price for it, and then who knows? Like, maybe I'll have an Xbox One around November and copies will be cheap. So, or maybe they'll have a sale. Who knows? Who knows? All that crazy stuff could happen. I just wish this wasn't published by EA. I almost wish it...
EA has the money, and when you're talking about a big name like the guys who are former Infinity Ward people, you have the money to pay them more than anyone else.
I kind of wish they would have got bought by Microsoft. As horrible as that sounds, because then I wouldn't have to use Origin if it was on the PC. And and I'm guessing if they would have bought them, they probably would have made it an Xbox exclusive. So who knows? Anyway, that's Titanfall. You guys have anything else to say about it, or?
I'm interested to see how it will hold up against Destiny later this year.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. That's gonna be.
Yeah.
Destiny is the Bungie guys who made Halo 2, 3, Reach, and then we got the good Call of Duty guys, the guys who made Modern Warfare 1 and 2. So, I don't know, that'll be an interesting comparison.
Mm-hmm.
So, next thing we want to talk about is Flappy Bird.
Flappy Bird.
This terrible game for the iPhone, that there are pipes coming from the top and the bottom. They are literally assets from fucking Super Mario. And you tap the screen and the bird, he flies.
It's like a mix of Mario and Angry Birds.
Not even. I would say
really?
I would say that what you have to do is you tap the screen, and he flutters a little bit. You have to keep tapping it to make sure he doesn't hit pipes. And
yeah, so it's kind of yeah.
Yeah, so in fact, it's almost the opposite of Angry Birds. This is less of a game than Angry Birds, even, which I don't get why people enjoy this, for one.
Is there an object? Like, what are you supposed to do?
You're supposed to get to the end of the level. Alright, so what it is, like I said, you're a bird, and you tap the screen to fly. And you keep tapping it, you go higher. If you don't tap it, you go lower. And there are a bunch of pipes, and you can't hit the pipes. They're above you and below you.
Okay.
And you just keep tapping the screen, and you navigate through the pipes, you get to the end of the level, and then you do the next level.
Okay.
That's Flappy Birds.
That sounds like a kind of a basic game that a college project would be.
Yep. Well, it got massively popular and really addictive. Like, horribly. A lot of people found it really addictive. I call those people idiots.
That's one word for it, I guess.
In fact, I even posted on Facebook. It's just like, oh no, what am I going to do without Flappy? It's like, how will I live without Flappy Bird? How will I do this? Oh, wait. And I just listed a bunch of different games that I really enjoyed. Okay, so, and if you are a sane person, if you are a regular person, you just were like, oh, okay, well, this game is dumb. Or if you enjoy the game, you're like, okay, well, I enjoy this, I'm going to play it. But a lot of people in our community get angry when something popular that they don't consider to be a, quote, real game gets popular. Games like Angry Birds. They don't consider phone games to be real games. Which these people are...
That's like, besides the point, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they started attacking the creator of Flappy Birds and attacking Flappy Bird itself. Which, hold on, his name...
Attacking as in possibly this being the internet, it is pretty much considered harassing.
Yeah, harassing, death threats, all kinds of good stuff. He's been accused of, theft of an idea, and... Anyway, the creator, Dong, Anthony, you're gonna have to pronounce this. It's Nguyen.
Dong Nguyen.
Nguyen?
Yes.
Okay, Dong Nguyen. That is a hilarious name. Dong.
Well, when you're talking about Vietnamese names, they're like that a lot.
Okay, well, anyway, Dong Nguyen, said, I think it has become a problem. To solve that problem, it's best to take Flappy Bird. It's gone forever. And he took it off the App Store. And a bunch of people were sad. And, I don't know, man. This, first off, Internet, don't be a dick to this guy because he made a shitty game that got popular. Tons of people like Call of Duty.
Look, the world is filled. The
Oh.
world is filled with shitty ideas that get popular. Okay, MC Hammer Pants, those were popular.
Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, that was popular. Lots of stupid things get popular, but guess what? They don't stay popular forever.
Gangnam Style.
They'll go away.
Gangnam Style was
Yeah.
amazing. You shut your mouth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You
Gangnam
think that
Style.
shit was? Oh, come on! Like
Yeah,
it was.
no.
It was riding in a match. Whatever. You know what? Whatever, Bronson. We're done.
Dude, no, I saw a flash mob of that shit at PAX. It was hilarious.
Bet you did.
It was so hype. Oh man.
Do you remember when the Harlem Shake was a thing?
That was only like 8 months ago, and yeah, that was also pretty dumb and hilarious.
That was just dumb.
It was,
It was just a bunch of naked people fucking humping things.
that, I don't see a problem here.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, at least if it's a little random or funny, I'm okay with it. Like getting popular. This was, and in the case of Gangnam Style, it was actually kind of a catchy song. In the case of this game is just bad, but it's not bad enough to where you should attack.
I don't think I would say it's bad. I think it's because from what you're describing to me, I don't think it's necessarily bad. Because let's be honest, I think I've made a game equally shallow. It just doesn't have the depth that gaming enthusiasts accept as normal.
games.
Yes, except as games.
Yeah.
I made a Game Boy Advance game. It's hilariously shallow. If it somehow got popular in the App Store, I think I would have gotten the same amount of crap too. But yeah. So I could see where Flappy Birds is coming from. It's just not really. It doesn't have the depth that gaming enthusiasts consider qualification as a game.
So, but now, first off, internet, stop being dicks. Just stop.
You're asking the internet to be.
Yeah, right.
I'm asking this sentient body of the internet. Who do I need to talk to talk to that sentient being? Is it 4chan?
I don't know, but I want to talk to them too.
It's like, you guys need more porn. I know that there's already a lot, but there needs to be more. But no, like, you know, and I realize by saying this, a bunch of people are instantly going to come and attack me, which that's fine because unlike Dong Win and Phil Fish,
No.
I'm not a pussy.
Nick and be like, who is internet?
Well, people already get super, like, you weren't here when this was happening, but when we first joined the site, like, and started appearing on podcasts and shit that weren't just our custom branded stuff, people got, like, super pissed. Some people did anyway. You know, and I hope they grew to either like us, or they either grew to like us or they left. One of the two happened. But I mean, first off, people are resistant to change, and people on the internet are jerks, especially when something they really like changes, even if it's for the better. You know, like recently, Penny Arcade redesigned their website. My first reaction to it was, I don't like this, but now I'm like, oh, I see how this is better.
I don't like this because I'm not used to it.
Yeah. Now everyone's used to Anthony and I because we've been here so long. And we produce enough content to where, you know, they're forced to watch us if they want to follow TGA. But like Phil Fish earlier and now this, like, quit being dicks, internet. Like, seriously. Even if it is warranted, there's better ways to criticize someone than to send them death threats.
I can honestly see why he took the game down.
Really?
Because if you are a normal person and you do something, and all of a sudden everyone is very angry at you, like you've committed a crime against society, and they're giving you death threats, and they're telling you to go die, and they're telling you, would you want to be associated with these people? Do you want to even make anything for this kind of crowd? It's like, why do something and be associated with a group of people that don't want you?
So
what's the option? You leave. You go away, because clearly you're not wanted here. And they're just going to try and ruin you, and you don't know if they're being serious about their death threats or not. It's like walking into a neighborhood where you don't really belong, and all of a sudden you got people just giving you the ugly look, and it doesn't feel safe. And then it kind of becomes a concern of safety.
So, but on the other,
in the case of Phil Fish, he basically just got angry at everybody and just left. Whereas with this guy, I don't know. From the sound of things, he didn't get angry at anybody. It's just that he probably wasn't as resilient against the attacks that were thrown at him. So probably his best option was to leave.
So, yeah, man, I like on one end of this, I am, like, I understand that, but whenever you publish something that is art, or even something that you made,
even if you publish something that is art, and you get death threats. Hate mail, it seems like you're suddenly branded a criminal. Would you want to be associated as hobby? Do you want to do a hobby where every single day you wake up only to be labeled a criminal?
All right, well,
you committed a crime against gaming society.
This would be my personal response, and I can't speak for Mr. Wynn. Supposedly, you and I did a rough estimate, but after Apple took their cut, the man was probably making $4,000 to $5,000 a day. So you bet your ass for that kind of money. But even then, I probably still would, because I know the gaming community isn't all bad. Like, I've been to PAX, I've been to Game. We talk with people on the internet all the time. I'm on several forums, and I'm very ingrained in the gaming community. So to me, it's very much a case of, this is a couple of jerks on the internet who can be hard and shell out death threats. Why? Because it's the internet. So fuck them. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing, and if someone wants to offer me constructive criticism, I will take a look at it. And that's just kind of how I roll. That said, God. That said,
here's the thing: many people are not as they don't brush off things like that as easily as you do. A lot of people, like, I don't know how to exactly put it, but a lot of people don't exactly have the same kind of positive outlook, and a lot of people don't have the same kind of, it's just a bunch of words, but they don't act on it kind of people. But he's probably not aware of that, so for him, it's, I don't know. Seeing from his viewpoint, though, it seems like I said, it seems like he suddenly was branded a criminal and should correct his wrongs.
The thing is that
for like his own safety or whatever.
First off, for game developers especially, this shit is not uncommon. I pulled up a couple of tweets here. This was at Robert Bowling, one of the guys behind the former Call of Duty, the Titanfall guys. Today I will go out and buy a sniper rifle, kill you and your family, and sell your body to a convicted rapist that is also a necrophiliac.
What the fuck?
And the thing is we lack empathy on the internet, obviously, and there's a lot of internet, there's a lot of bad on the internet and people talking shit and whatnot, and I think people need to understand that these these people that they are talking shit to are actual people, but the people who are getting shat on need to understand that 99.9% of the time, this is just some crazy motherfucker talking shit because he's mad at something that went on in my game. And yeah, like they're, God, like that. That's the worst part about it, though, is on one end of things, like, yes, these guys need thicker skin. While on the other side of things, the internet needs to stop being fucking assholes. And I mean, on our site, I will take all, like, I think a perfect example of this is, no offense to Anthony, you're a little more sensitive than I am, and when you get hate mail, it actually bothers you a little bit. When I get hate mail, I just call the person an idiot and move on with my day. And I think that it also depends on what kind of person you are. Like, you don't hear Robert Bowling stop making games. Robert Bowling's just kind of like, whatever, this person's dumb. I
don't think I've ever gotten hate mail.
Well, that's because, well, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you actually...
You can tell me the truth.
No, like, not sent to me anyway. I might want to talk to Nick. But, so, like, in your case, you have advantage of being very pretty and also actually knowing what you're talking about. So you have a very limited scope of people you can make angry.
Well, I mean, you'd be surprised. Like, sometimes on my YouTube channel, I do get hate mail just for some of my opinions. Like, I had one guy call me the C word just because I was talking about how I think Phil Fish is a baby. And he called me the C word. I'm like, okay, that's really dumb.
That's like the other thing, too, is that once you spend enough time around the internet, you realize that because people talk behind usernames, it's very easy to say almost anything you want and not get in trouble.
I know.
Because let's be honest here, there isn't exactly an internet police, and even if there was, everyone would riot to get it removed. There really is no internet police. It's not like and because you're hiding behind it's like what's the real life equivalent? You could just walk out the door of your house and look like anybody, just random. But really, what you're putting on is just a human costume. And you can go out there and spew whatever hate you want, and there's no police officer or community volunteer to enforce rules.
Yeah.
Unless you're inside a company building. Like, if YouTube were to be a building, and you set that stuff in YouTube, you bet they'll kick you out. But in the free open world, you can spew a lot of terrible things.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no internet police, and people are really, really angry if there is even the slightest concept of an internet police happening. So this problem is something that's not going to get solved for an extremely long time. So once you spend enough time on the internet, you kind of realize that a lot of these death threats don't really mean anything. Because they can give you the death threats, but I kind of look at it this way. If they're giving you the death threat, until they act on it, oh well. I'm pretty sure that there's like some areas that are much more serious. But as far as opinions on reviews and getting a death threat just because you kind of made a game that they didn't like, yeah, you just kind of learn, oh, they're just saying that to scare me.
The internet as a whole needs to get better about this. So Patrick Klepek of Giant Bomb actually wrote an article on this whole thing, our internet empathy problem, which, I'm going to pull a little bit of a paragraph here. It's like, when someone photoshops my wife into a photo to try and unsettle me, it feels very goddamn personal. You cannot distance yourself from attacks that are directed at you, as such otherwise only underscores one lack of experience with the subject. You need a thick skin to survive as a public figure on the internet. That doesn't mean there aren't chinks in the armor. And as Jim Sterling mentioned on this week's morning show, it doesn't mean there isn't skin underneath. That skin can get raw. The lack of empathy on the internet, there are people behind every game, every username, every Twitter account. And then it goes on to say, was discussion at hand here, should we allow to insult and or threaten people via the internet? Insult, yes. Threaten, no. That is not protected.
Yeah, exactly.
That is not protected.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, that is not protected speech. Learn how to construct a real argument. And then I'll continue on with this last little bit here when you're done with your thing, Anthony. Go ahead.
I'm not an expert on constitutional law. Yes, you have the freedom of speech. It's one of the most publicized things about the American Constitution.
Threats and vulgarity are not protected under that shit, though.
Free speech means you are allowed to voice an opinion. Free speech does not mean you harass someone. There's a thin line between having an opinion because you don't like something and harassment.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, there is the point that, yeah, you are free to say something. That doesn't mean you are free of the consequences of that speech. So, heads up there. Anyway, final last little bit of this is insult, yes. Threaten, no. This is not protected speech. Learn how to construct a real argument. It's not that bad. I see worse shit in an average game of Dota. This unfortunately rings true. It wouldn't surprise me if statistically the gaming audience was found to be more prone to this type of vitriolic commentary than other communities. The hardcore gaming demographic skews young. I'm afraid to imagine what kind of stupid things I might have said on today's internet when I was 14 years old. Many games, especially those online, are competitive, and adrenaline can bring out the worst in us. But none of these are excuses for such poor behavior, and merely pointing out the problem isn't solvent. A combination of legal, technological, and societal changes are needed to make the internet a safer place, especially for critical, dissenting voices. You shouldn't have to put up with death threats on the internet, and individuals shouldn't be allowed to get away with them without a reciprocal impact. This article won't change that, but the next time a situation flares up, you don't have to contribute to the problem either. Don't be silent. Speak up for targets of harassment. They're victims after all. So, yeah. I think that says it pretty well. Just quit being dicks. I on the other end of this, though, critics, you do need thick skin. And I'm going to be honest, if I was making upwards of $5,000 a day, you could say whatever the hell you wanted about me.
Being miserably rich, though, isn't very good.
Anthony?
I get it.
Anthony, there is an old saying. It is, yes, money can't buy happiness, but it's far more comfortable to cry in a Mercedes.
Uh-huh. Right up until you to commit suicide, which money can't solve. Money doesn't solve suicides.
Okay, well,
money doesn't solve taking one own's life.
Money can solve me not having to listen to these people as like, oh, he insulted my game. I guess I'm just gonna go hang out by my fucking pool next to my mansion. Sweet. Yeah. So, just like that. It's,
physical material still doesn't exactly solve a mental problem. Just because, like, how should I play this? How should I put this? It is possible to be miserable to the point where it doesn't even matter if you have a Mercedes or a Honda. It doesn't matter, okay? Because there comes a point where if your mental health degrades enough, the physical world just stops. Nothing in the physical world can make you feel better, unless you go and get help.
Which, hey, $4,000 a day can pay for a lot of good therapy.
Oh, it probably could, but then the first step, of course, is accepting that you want to go to therapy. That's like the first step, which can be really hard. Okay.
All right. Well,
I'm just saying, like, as someone who grew up with like a lot of money and like in a wealthy family, I'm just saying, it didn't stop me from having like horrible depression throughout my entire life.
Yes.
So I had a whole bunch of shit.
You can have a pool. You can have the nicest car. You can have everything
never had a
provided
pool.
for you, but it doesn't solve. First off, I know it doesn't take care of harassment problems. I know it doesn't stop social problems from happening.
Hold that thought real quick, because I just want to mention something. I like Kyrie's response to that. Oh, I've never had a pool. All right, Anthony, go ahead.
Thank you, Bronson, for like ruining the moment.
All right, go ahead.
I did never have a pool, and we moved from my old house when I was 7 into this new big house, and the first thing I asked was, "We better have a pool." And my mom's like, "We're not gonna have a pool." I'm like, "Then why are we moving?"
I don't know. I've been in like everything from as poor as can be to the upper middle class, and let me tell you, like, as someone who has had to deal with really heavy shit when broke and really heavy shit when having money, man, it is a lot easier to deal with that shit when you have money, because then you don't have the added problems of that come with being broke. Let me tell you right now.
Maybe, but whenever you start to doubt your own safety, no amount of money really solves that. I mean, oh yeah, sure. Oh, I'm going to install a security system. That doesn't stop hate.
Hey, speaking of which,
you can't really
integrity security system.
You can't pay people to shut up on the internet.
No, but you can just not go on there and read that shit or take it seriously.
Which is like another thing too. It's just like, yeah, there are death threats, but I found that's like another thing is that when people are like harassing you, something I've learned is that if you ignore them, they'll stop.
Get bored.
They get bored because they
want a response.
You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed how things turn out when people feel that they are ignored. Because when you are ignored, you kind of feel like no one cares about what you're saying, so you just drop it.
Yeah.
But if you respond back, if it's like, ooh, he's responded to me, I will win this fight.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's when I just learned to just not give a shit, because it's just like they love watching you get riled up.
Yeah, that's very much exactly it. That's very much why, what I will do is, and granted, we're not like the most we get, the most I've gotten in a day is like 10 emails, so it's not anywhere near the hundreds. But the thing I do is, I'll call them an idiot, and then I'll go on with, or give them one response and then go on with my day. Like there's no reason to like let them get to you. If you are one of those internet personalities. And on the other end of that, like, internet, quit being dicks.
I think one of the hard parts about when you're being the victim of harassment is it gets hard to decide whether you're being harassed, whether they're being serious about what they say, or you should be concerned about your safety. Because death threats, like, this is the same internet where if someone actually did work hard enough, all your personal information could just be spilled out there. We're talking like this is the same kind of internet that breaks into, like, there was this news story that Target got hacked and like 50 million credit card numbers got stolen.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, stuff like that happens. Against, that kind of stuff can happen. So now you become concerned, like, is there going to be somebody out there, like, who is actually going to be serious, just the one person or group of people who are going to be so serious, that are actually serious about their threat, and next thing you know, they break into your bank accounts, they take everything away from you, because we kind of live in a world where it's almost like kind of like a movie where it can get really scary, because when you have like 50 million credit cards stolen from Target, wow, that's like, then if that is possible, then what else is possible? So you start getting concerned about your safety, because if everyone is hating you like this, clearly there's going to be a group out there that's going to go after you personally and take things away from you. So then it becomes so what's the best option? Probably stop and, kind of just stop doing it and Take whatever people find very offensive off.
That would be valid to me, if not for one thing, and that's like they're the guys who make Call of Duty, and they're the guys, Nintendo, and the very biggest of the big, and their response is they just ignore them, or in the case of Penny Arcade, like Gabe,
Mind you, this is one guy. This isn't some mega corporation who can hire a security team to track down whoever decides to break into Nintendo's banking accounts.
Okay, well, in this case, let's take the Penny Arcade guys, for example. That's an office of 10 people, and particularly 2 guys.
Penny Arcade has a strong community that likes them.
Okay, well...
This dude probably doesn't.
Well, anyway, like I was saying, though, and there's this case, like, okay, why take it down, though? Like, I would just ignore the immense stupidity that they're spewing at me, but I don't know, man,
I don't know, I kind of look at it as the viewpoint of a person who isn't very familiar with the internet. Like, to be honest, none of us has had a person or a massive, colossal list of people raining down on our doors telling us we've committed something really bad. We haven't had that yet. You can say, oh yeah, if this happened, I would do this and this and this, but it hasn't happened yet, has it? At worst, it's probably only about like 5 people, so I don't know if we could really speak
like
what we would do.
That's the bummer that Nick isn't here, because he probably has had that.
He probably has, yes.
And like even then, like just it's largely because I've grown up with the internet. I know that 99.9% of the people on the internet talking shit won't do anything. So, let them talk shit, and I'll continue to make my ridiculous amounts of money while I cry all the way to the bank because some dude on the internet's talking shit, and like I said, 99.9% of the time, they're not going to fucking do anything. So,
yeah.
Like that's...
I really don't know. I'm just trying to understand, like, the guy's viewpoint, really. I think, like, he's not very familiar with it.
All right, well, let's talk about...
Well, he's an indie game designer. He probably just, like, made one game. He had no idea that it was going to be what it was now, like, honestly. Of course not.
Well, he apparently left a lot of money on the table because there are several iPhones that sold on eBay
for like $8,000.
There's one that sold for $8,000, a couple that sold for $3,000, and right now the average is $1,300 for an iPhone 5S with Flappy Birds.
What the fuck is wrong with people?
So,
collectors, maybe.
These are people who need to be like shot. These people have so much money that they're just going to spend $8,000 on an iPhone with fucking Flappy Bird. When there's people out there that actually need that money, like, who do these people think that they are? that just pisses me off so much to read stuff like that,
They really want to play Flappy Birds that badly.
I don't understand.
It's not exactly the game that they're buying, it's the history and the rarity that they're buying. Like, you think about it, okay? Like, this kind of happens with a lot of things in real life, okay? What's a good example? That's like saying, why would anybody want to buy an old car that was a failure or, was ugly to look at? And if you bought this ugly, rare car today, completely pointless, doesn't run very well, but people buy it. Why? Well, the history. It's kind of like a history kind of thing. So, yeah, that's the only reason I can think of. I mean,
obviously, just the fact that someone says that you can't have something anymore obviously makes you just want to have it more.
Well, we fell into this trap. We went on a Twinkie hunt, yo.
I think the Twinkie hunt was a great example. It's like, Hostess is going out of business. Everybody, go get a Twinkie now. It'll be the last time you ever eat one in your life.
Granted, first off, we failed miserably, but even then,
Second off, anybody who, like any person who kind of I wouldn't say any. There are probably some people who realize that because everyone suddenly had an interest in Twinkies, you would buy the Twinkies
yeah,
brand and
motherfucker.
sell
Now,
it.
the next time something like that happens, I'm instantly going out and like buying a bunch of them and putting them on eBay.
I thought it was. When I found a box of Twinkies at my best friend's house, it was like, oh my goodness, you have Twinkies? He's like, yeah. And I didn't realize that they started selling the exact same Twinkie again just recently.
Yeah, that was like
Um,
end of last year. Like the
Yeah, it was
sweetest
just like,
comeback ever.
it's like, yeah, it makes a little bit of, it makes some sense. Oh my goodness, everyone suddenly wants to buy Twinkies. Yeah, let's buy the business and start up Twinkies again. And now they're back on shelves.
Well,
So
and when they got back into business, I actually went and had a Twinkie, and then I remembered exactly why.
I remember that Twinkies taste awesome, but all that fluff and is just like, yeah, this is also very.
See, I don't like Twinkies when they're warm. Like, I have to refrigerate them. Like, I have to refrigerate Twinkies to eat them.
Have you ever had them deep fried?
Yes, that's delicious.
Oh my god, those are like death. Oh my god.
Oh, yeah, no, it is.
They're the best thing I've ever had.
Yeah, same thing with deep fried ice cream. That's really good, too.
I just had that the other day. It's like funnel cake. It's like ice cream and funnel cake.
Oh, God.
So good. And
Fuck.
deep fried Oreos. Oh god.
Ugh, I haven't had deep fried Oreos.
Deep fried Oreos are probably literally the best thing I've ever had because like after they fry them, they like melt on the inside. So, oh my god, it's like so good.
All right. And
Diabetes.
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 You would have
Kyrie
really,
just gave you diabetes.
you would have done really well on the last episode of the raid we did, where we talked about this is why you're fat.
Oh, the week after Diego and I broke up, I got so fat. That night, I had like a bowl of mac and cheese. I had mozzarella sticks. Then afterwards, I was still hungry, so I went downstairs and got a bag of Oreos, and I had the Oreos with some milk. And then I'm like, I'm gonna get so fat, and I gained like 10 pounds that week.
God damn. Although that makes sense considering what happened.
Yeah, I know, but it was just like, oh my god, I had no idea I could eat that much.
You never know how much you can eat until you try.
I know, until you try to fill the void in your heart that can only be filled with mac and cheese and sugar.
Can you guys stop making me hungry, please?
I haven't had a Burger King burger in a really long time, and I really want one.
Well, that's because Burger King's disgusting, so...
No, fuck you.
Oh,
Burger King's amazing. They're Baconators, or not Baconators. Those are Wendy's.
Yeah, I was about to say, now, if you want to talk about Baconator, fucking Wendy's is the shit.
Wendy's is amazing. I love Wendy's. But I want to have their bacon cheeseburgers are so good. I don't know what sauce they put on them, but they're so good. Oh
You
my
want to
god.
know what I was so fucking happy to find out? McDonald's does bacon cheeseburgers now?
They always made bacon.
No, not
Yeah.
not on the West Coast.
Oh, well, here they did.
Like, you can get a fucking like a regular bacon double cheeseburger for like $2.
You know what the best thing ever is? It's like disco fries. Have you ever had them? I think it's a Jersey thing.
Yeah, that might be a Jersey thing.
Yeah, it's like the biggest thing here, but it's like fries with gravy and then cheese on top. It's so good. I know it sounds disgusting, but it's like literally the best thing I've ever had.
The one that sounds like poutine from.
It's amazing. Yeah, based on that. But it's like, oh my god, I had it. It was so good. I ate it like 4 times.
Canada and had poutine, so if it tastes like that, it's probably fucking good.
Yeah, it is. That's what I've heard. I've heard it's like based on that. So. It's like so good. I had it like 4 times a week.
No, I actually, as long as we're talking about fast food, over here on the West Coast, fucking In-N-Out. Oh my god.
Oh, I love In-N-Out.
That shit needs to go global.
I'm getting hungry.
I know. Do you have Sonic over there?
Yeah, we do.
I love Sonic.
We got
oh my god, Sonic,
we got a local place that's like Sonic's. It's called Scoopers. It's really good too. That's a Reno only thing. What's another place? Up in Seattle, there's this really, really good burger place called Dick's. No, I'm not kidding.
Well, if it was opened before the 1990s,
yeah,
that's actually...
let's find out.
That makes sense. But you think about it, before the internet kind of basically told everybody that naming anything Dick's.
I have
terrible idea. I mean...
Okay, yeah, it was It was a 50s drive-in. It opened in
See,
1954.
now in the 1950s, people weren't talking. In the 1950s, maybe the name Dick wasn't really that bad yet.
Yeah. So
Like, actually, to be honest, that was probably an okay first name to give to a child back in the day. You know, like Dick Cheney.
yeah, Dick. Okay, so Dick's is an amazing. It's a Seattle only thing, and it's so good. If you're ever in the area, it's in Wallingford, Capitol Hill, Crown Hill, Lake City, Lower Queen Anne, Edmond, and Edmonds. And apparently they
Every
closed,
time,
Apparently they
sorry.
closed the one in Bellevue. Sorry, go ahead.
every time I hear someone say like, "There's a business called Dick's," I always think of this Vine. It's so funny. Just watch it.
Okay. All right.
I'll maybe watch it later.
No, you should watch it now. It's 7 seconds.
All right. Watching it right now.
Okay. It's oh my gosh.
That's pretty good, Kyron.
So every time I hear somebody say Dick's, I'm like,
All right. Well, if we all go to PAX this year, I'm taking us all to Dick's. So
yeah.
we're all Dick's all in our mouth. That'll be great. No one's gonna laugh at my joke a 6-year-old would make. No.
I'm laughing.
All right, Anthony, are you ready to get some food at Dick's? Do you want Dick's food all in your mouth?
See,
in Seattle?
see, this kind of tells. See, like
This is why we
Like,
can't have nice things, bro.
you can't say dicks anymore these days without causing giggles to happen. For example, elementary school child. I'm gonna go outside and kick some balls. See,
Sorry.
that's the problem. See, it's a perfectly honest.
Even I'm
sentence.
smiling right
They're just going outside to kick like some kickballs. Okay, you know, like those playground.
Those red.
Yeah, those little red kickballs, you know, that you kick up against a wall and do stuff like that. But you say that to anybody in our generation, and then we just try to restrain laughter. Here's another funny one: punching babies. You make a punching baby joke and people laugh for some reason. You just say punching babies and they start laughing.
Oh,
It's a cruel thing to punch a baby.
No,
I
it's because I work as a nanny and I want to punch them so bad. So when people say
Oh.
Jesus,
I got a good one for you then, Kyrie. How many babies does it take to paint a barn red?
depends on how hard you throw them.
Yep, bingo. Oh, we are horrible people.
We are horrible people. I've accepted this.
Oh, God.
My generation is so screwed.
Uh,
But then again, every generation is screwed in some ways. You know, 80s fashion, 70s LSD drugs. Yeah. Every generation has really bad things.
But yeah, if we all go to PAX this year, we're all going to Dick's. I'm making sure we go to get a dinner at Dick's.
Okay.
Let it out.
Trying to restrain laughter.
Oh.
We're also going to go to the Hurricane probably also. So Anthony, you're going to be very happy because both of these are like classic American diners.
Ooh. Yeah, that's like something I really like is classic American diners.
Yeah, so
I mean, first off, they're usually 24 hours, so that's freaking awesome. Because if I'm ever hungry at 1, I don't know, like I don't really crave burgers at 1 a.m., but still, it's a really nice perk.
you don't go out drinking enough.
In
Is my
addition,
response
their
to
whole
that.
menu is like open all day long, so it's not like, oh, I'm sorry, sir, it's 1 p.m. You get no breakfast.
All right, so this is what I'm thinking about for PAX this year. If we go, we usually get there around 9 o'clock in the afternoon and at night on Thursday. So since Dick's is open to 2, we should take a cab over to Dick's, have food, and then come back to the hotel. That seems like a pretty great idea. Also, does anyone? You guys have obviously heard of Macklemore, right?
Manuel. Poppy time. What?
Yes. Okay. You know his song "White Walls"?
No.
Okay, well, White Walls has Dick's Driving in it, the video.
Oh.
So, Dick's has White Walls. Yep, there you go.
Oh, this needs to stop.
All right. So, next piece of news. God damn it. Is that Amazon has bought the developers of Killer Instinct, Double Helix.
Interesting.
Long-standing rumors have suggested the company has had plans to enter the market with an Android-based gaming console.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know. It could just be Amazon is getting into game development, but I don't know. Would you guys buy an Amazon console?
No.
It faces the well, if they're making a dedicated system, there's going to be a lot of troubles here, because if you're trying to pitch this to, say, the Angry Birds crowd, the problem is that they already have a phone that can do that, or a tablet. If you pitch this to gaming enthusiasts, now you're faced with the overly high I wouldn't say overly, but the very, very high expectations that gaming enthusiasts want. Does it have game after game after game after game? Usually no. Like, a good example I would point out to is, say, NVIDIA's Project Shield. That thing had a lot of hype when it was announced at CES. Same CES we went to, actually. We actually did an interview on it. And,
I stumped that guy. We had to stop the interview like 5 times.
Yeah, but NVIDIA won a lot of awards for announcing Project Shield. And when we were at the NVIDIA booth, a lot of people were pointing their cameras at this new handheld device. It came with a Tegra processor. It's extremely powerful. It can do 1080p type like gaming. You can stream games from your PC, and it can be powered by NVIDIA Grid. Like, this thing sounds like the ultimate gaming enthusiast dream. And they also talk about, it runs on Android, which, they say is a very open platform. So it said all that stuff. However, as of today, gaming enthusiasts don't really talk about NVIDIA Shield. I actually don't even know if people who have a Shield actually like it or not.
I know one person who owns a Shield, and he hasn't told me anything about it, and that's Alex.
Yeah, I don't know about it, but it didn't sell in big. Like, it's not big, because if it was big, we would have known more. And that's NVIDIA. NVIDIA, a PC. NVIDIA is, NVIDIA among gamers is best known for their PC graphics cards. Like, they're a big name in gaming. And they put out an Android gaming device, and no one really bought one.
Right.
To my knowledge. So, Amazon is much, much, much bigger. Like, everyone knows what Amazon is, and Amazon sells everything. Hell, you can buy milkshakes and food from them. So they sell like everything. So, if they make, and they have tablets. They have like the Kindle Fire HDX or something like that. They make tablets. So if they put out a gaming device, I think no one's going to take it seriously. It's going to be one of those. It's going to be one of those. Oh, that's a cute little toy. But that's about it. It's just like, oh, it's something it's something the grandma can enjoy.
Something grandma can enjoy. I like that.
Well, that's how people are going to treat it.
No, I know, obviously, but I just think that's a good way to put it.
I mean, yeah, it's just, yes. I mean, having a game developer studio make a game for your new dedicated handheld device is good, but one developer doesn't solve everything. One development team doesn't solve everything. You need many, many development teams. Okay, like, for example, Nintendo. Sure, everything that Nintendo kind of makes that's first party says Nintendo on it, but Nintendo has many different development teams within the company itself. You got one team making Zelda games, one team making the flagship Super Mario games, a team making the Paper Mario games, a team making Fire Emblem games, stuff like that. You need many game developers to make your system be considered something. So, yeah.
All right.
And to be honest, it's going to be really, really, really hard to convince people and developers to make stuff for this new gaming device. I'm sure a lot of little game companies or indie type people will make stuff for it, but it's probably not going to be taken very seriously unless it has some serious manpower behind it. Yeah. Like, actually, Microsoft, when they made the Xbox, they had a lot of studios behind the original Xbox, and even then they could barely muster out 21 million units.
I remember, I've read a lot about,
I should say.
I remember reading a lot about the OG Xbox, and yeah, man, that thing, like, what they did when making it is they went around to publishers and developers and saying, what would you want from a platform? And they essentially made that platform. And like I said, the original Xbox, in my opinion, out of all the history of video game consoles, it's probably the one that least lived up to its potential. That thing was 4 times as powerful as the PS2 almost, probably 3. It had an Ethernet port built in for broadband gaming and a hard drive. That thing was mad future-proof. And the games that were exclusive to the Xbox, you could see the difference. Like, you could see, and you really saw it with multiplats. Like, I mean, you saw, you play Burnout, you play the sports games, like, sports games especially, like, the sports games, you know how in sports games, Anthony, you will sim part of the season because you don't want to play it?
Yeah.
On PS2, that shit would take forever. On Xbox, maybe like 2 minutes. Like, it's very much so. Yeah, like, and I don't think Amazon has the real technical know-how the way Microsoft did. And Microsoft had a bunch of like game guys working on the OG Xbox, so they actually knew what they were doing.
The one thing that Amazon does have, though,
money,
lots and lots of money. Now, that being said, though, money doesn't solve everything. Like, Microsoft had a huge amount of money because, let's be honest, they pretty much were, the dominant king in computers back in the day. But even then, it was an okay first try, if okay was considered barely beating Nintendo.
And really only doing it in really only being successful in North America.
Yeah. Convince Japan to buy an Xbox. Haha, very funny.
Still trying.
Yeah, still trying.
Failing, but trying.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, Amazon, I feel like it's just going to be I know this is going to sound a little crude and cruel, but in a way, it might be seen as just a glorified Android device with more power, with buttons and an analog stick on it.
So, are we finally getting back to the point where we were at in the early 90s where, like, there's going to be 2 or 3 main consoles and then a bunch of just really stupid, asinine competitors no one actually buys? Because that's kind of...
Well, yeah, but nowadays, when you look at it, the size of the game industry is so big that, it's really big. And considering that mobile gaming, if you can count that, has pretty much made a lot of money also. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I go and I look back at like the early 90s, and you look at, like, there were the real consoles that people actually gave a shit about. The Super Nintendo, the Genesis, and the TurboGrafx. And then there was like the Neo Geo, which was super awesome because it played direct arcade ports, but games were $100 a piece, and the system itself was like $800, so no one bought it. And
Oh.
and then there was the 3DO, which sucked ass, and the Atari Jaguar, which sucked ass, and then there was
Well, I think the difference here is that the 90s was full of a lot of competitors that tried to out horsepower the giants.
yeah.
Like, one of my favorites, Atari Jaguar, do the math. It's got 64-bit processing. Well, it totally sucked because no one could make anything for it. It was absolutely terrible and had one of those stupid keypads. Like, the Atari Jaguar was just absolutely garbage. Then there was the 3DO. Also tried to out horsepower the N64 PlayStation.
Yeah. Well, actually, no, it
And-
was Super Nintendo at first.
Super Nintendo first, but then eventually became PlayStation and N64. And guess what? Really expensive. Then there was the Apple Pimpin', which, unlike today's Apple, the Apple back then was a lot smaller
Yeah.
and was kind of clinging to survival
Yeah.
in those days. So back then it was more like out horsepower. Nowadays, though, every time they talk about a gaming console, it usually comes out in a form of an Android device with a lot of.
I will say this: the Neo Geo was the shit.
Okay. Yeah, but so unlike back then in which they were like all these custom game systems that just no one wanted to buy and was just utterly complicated, today it's more like these new game systems are a lot like glorified Android devices, if you want to look at it really crudely. I mean, Project Shield is basically it runs Android. The Ouya runs on Android, and Amazon. The rumor is that system's going to run on Android, right? I don't know. Android is like preferred gaming platform because it's open source.
Oh yeah.
Ish.
Though
So-
more, which is really weird to me. Which is why it's kind of weird to me that like everything comes out on iOS first. Just everything comes out on iOS first for games.
Well, you think about it, you have a standardized platform because Apple only makes like what 3 or 4 phones for iOS 7.
Yeah, right now there's only 4 phones that support it.
Yeah, and then there's the iPod Touch, but that's about it. Oh, and the iPad line. But that's about it as far as iOS devices. Whereas Android kind of runs on such a huge, diverse line of products that it's hard to optimize for any one of those.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Which understandable.
Yeah, and not to mention, Apple makes the best-selling single-model phone.
Yeah.
They can make just one iPhone 5S and it would sell way more. Like Android has bigger market share, yes, but with Apple, you get a higher number of a single model of phone. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Next-
So for them Amazon buying the Killer Instinct guys, don't know what to think of that really.
yeah.
I just don't care. I mean, I don't really care about that.
It's like I kind of think it's like Amazon. I know they make tablets, but they don't exactly. They're gonna need way more if they're gonna think about making a gaming system.
I'm just bummed that these guys aren't going to be able to make another Killer Instinct. That really bums me out because the Killer Instinct on the Xbox One is really good. It is super awesome. I recommend it to anyone who's a fan of fighting games. So, yeah. Alright, so anyway, next piece of news is they have announced the games for EVO this year. For those of you who have no idea what EVO is, it is the biggest fighting game tournament in Las Vegas every year. So here are the games on the list: Ultra Street Fighter 4, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, matches to be 3 out of 5. Injustice: Gods Among Us, King of Fighters 13, Killer Instinct, Blaze Blue Chrono Phantasm, and Super Smash Bros. Melee pending Nintendo's approval.
Pending Nintendo's approval.
Um,
Wasn't there a controversy about what Nintendo did?
yeah,
With
last
Evo?
year they almost didn't let Evo stream Melee, but then they caved because people bitched.
So now it sounds like we'll let you stream if we get the profits off the stream.
Uh,
I don't know. Yeah, that was definitely that controversy from last year.
Yeah. So
More evil then.
yeah, other comments are ever since Evo 2013, Tekken has dropped off in relevance. Kind of like a child celebrity turned into an adult. Shame because Tekken's 20th anniversary is around the corner, but they dropped Tekken from it. Also, the traditional road to Evo is essentially gone this year. The new Evo team has implemented an experimental system that will allow any major tournaments to award players with seeding points as long as they pertain the featured games and have sufficient number of participants. The tournament's organizers will just have to submit their results for the take effect. Developer panels are making a return. And it's also the 20th anniversary for Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. To commemorate this, Super Turbo specialists and legends of the FGC past will come together at EVO for X-Mania. It's a single elimination 3v3 tournament being held in another country other than Japan for the first time ever. So, yeah, fighting games. What's up? No, Anthony, do you want to watch Evo with me? Anthony?
I kind of don't care about fighting games.
Dude, they're so fun to watch, though. Evo is so great to watch. Like, even if you suck at the game, it's fantastic to watch. So crazy sometimes. And given this is an excuse to drive down to Las Vegas.
I am not driving down to Las Vegas.
I am down.
I am not going back to Vegas.
You have
Vegas
to understand.
is the best.
No, Anthony and I fucking hate Las
I
Vegas.
love Vegas.
Well, here's the thing. Did you go there with a lot of money?
Yes.
That's
okay,
why.
that's why.
That's
That's
why.
why.
Because the
I
catch
don't
to
go-
Vegas is that there is no such thing as an enjoyable cheap vacation in Vegas. Because the whole point of enjoying Vegas is that you stay at a nice hotel, in a nice room in the nice hotel, and do expensive things like eating at expensive restaurants and
Okay.
gambling and
True,
watching
no.
really expensive shows. Like if
That's
you're
true.
looking for a cheap, like the food isn't cheap in Vegas, the drinks are not cheap in Vegas, nothing about it is cheap. And if you want a good time, you got to be prepared to spend. Which for Bronson and I, that's a
Isn't-
problem.
I like.
Also, to all parents out there, don't take your children to Vegas. There will be next to nothing for them to do. I mean, you can eat expensive food and you can watch the shows, but that's about it. You can't drink. You can't go to, like, children can't drink. They can't go to clubs. They can't go gamble. They can't do any of these things that Vegas is advertised to be. It is a grown-ups kind of city. It's not for children. Okay, I mean, it used to be way back in the 90s, if you stayed at the MGM Grand, they had a Disneyland-type park, but they shut that down a long time ago, so there is really nothing for children to do. Not to mention, do you really want to take your children on the Vegas Strip and try to take pictures in front of Bellagio while 5 dudes try to hand you escort cards?
I
While
mean,
another
that's
2 dudes are trying to
better-
hand you music CDs?
Better to expose the kids now.
And another woman tries to compliment me on my shirt because she wants money.
Yep. So.
Yeah, it's not a good city. Like, what I've learned about
Yeah,
Vegas,
like-
what I like, the more I go there, the more I realize that as long as, if you stay at a nice enough hotel, whether it is, Aria or the MGM Grand or Bellagio or Mirage or the Wynn, whatever, as long as you stay inside the building, things look good. Because, high class entertainment. That's
True.
That's the word I'm looking for. High class entertainment. So, and obviously it's not cheap when it's high class. As long as you're inside the building, it's good because everything is nice. Customer service can be extremely friendly. They're willing to please, and it all seems kind of worth it. The moment you step outside, that's where's the problem. Like I freaking one time in Vegas, I stayed at the MGM Grand, and it was nice because I was in the building for like 2 days and didn't walk outside at all. And there's this walkway that goes over the Las Vegas Strip that connects between MGM Grand and New York, New York. And just walking across this walkway in 30 seconds, there was already 3 dudes trying to hand me escort cards, 2 people trying to sell bottled water, 2 people that seemed homeless, 1 person trying to sell nightclub visits, and another 2 dudes handing out CDs, all on this one walkway.
So
the moment I stepped outside, it was like, oh, this is why I don't like Las Vegas.
I was walking across the street one time. This guy, who was gonna give me a CD, he's like, "Yo, you look like a girl who likes her some Tupac." And I'm like, "Do I seriously look like the kind of girl who likes some Tupac?"
You see, now that could happen in any big city, because when I was in downtown Seattle for PAX I want to say it was 2012. No, it was 2011. There's this dude who was a local rap artist named Jugga Hill, and he's like, "Oh yeah, man, we're trying to get the Seattle rap game back, but man, just have the CD for a donation." I just gave him like $1 because it was like, well, there are 26 tracks on here. There has to be one good one, right? And man, so that was $1 well spent. Let me tell you.
Really?
Joe and I played that thing in his car on the way to this pagan festival. We're not pagan, we just wanted to see what it was all about. And we went and we played the CD, and my motherfucking God, was it horrible. It was so bad.
I thought you were going to tell me it was great. I was going to be like, what? Seriously?
But it was hilarious. First off, there's probably one good song on the whole thing. So, there's that. But just the worst. The absolute worst. Just so fucking garbage bad. And he had all... So you know how rap CDs will have points in it where it's just them talking or a skit?
Yeah.
His had a bunch of those, right? And they were all fucking horrible. And throughout this entire CD, he has had 30 different nicknames. And out of the entire CD, there are 2 good tracks, and one of the 2 good tracks is just he is in it for 20 seconds, and the rest of it is a bunch of other people in the Portland and Seattle rap game. Which, who the fuck has heard of the Portland or Seattle rap game?
The fuck?
No one listens to rap from that area. What the fuck? So, yeah, just the worst. I don't know, I think it says everything about the difference between Las Vegas and a city like Seattle or Denver. I can spend $800 total for the plane flight, for food, for the hotel, etc. in Seattle or in Denver and have an amazing time. I take $800 to Vegas, I feel broke.
Like I said, Vegas is advertised as high-class entertainment, and high class is very expensive.
It always is.
The thing is, though, that high-class entertainment isn't more fun than the shit.
That is true. That is, well, yeah, that is true. That is somewhat true, but, still, they market it.
Yeah, no, I get
high class.
I get that, but I'd rather...
You roll big, you win big, or something, stuff like that.
I'd rather spend, $950 total, for PAX tickets and then the rest of the trip to go to PAX, or like the same thing for a Denver
Yeah.
Bronco
I
game.
understand. I mean, there's something else about Vegas too that drives me insane. So, Vegas actually. So, walking around. I don't know if any of you have been or seen Project City Center, but it's like that latest big thing that they completed a few years back. And we were inside the shopping center, inside the mall there, and wow, was there a lot of expensive shops. Just everything was expensive in there. And then we proceeded to walk to the Bellagio. And now, they always say that watching the Bellagio water show is a beautiful experience.
It is.
It's a beautiful experience. However, this is Vegas. I couldn't enjoy the water show because I still had 3 dudes trying to hand me escort cards, and a dude who wouldn't stop shouting to people, "Nightclubs!" And I'm just like, can I just enjoy this water show? And you can't get a good picture either because so many people are walking on the flipping sidewalk.
That's true.
So, and you can't look down at the nice tiling because if you look down, you see all these cards that people just chucked away, and you just look down, you see all these escort cards all littered all over the floor, and I'm just like, at least I could walk through like downtown Reno and not see this.
Well, yeah. First off, if you're walking in downtown Reno, you're usually walking with our friend group, and no one's gonna fuck with a group with Quinn or I in it because Quinn's crazy and I'm big. So, I mean, that automatically just scares the shit out of people. Quinn
is also military.
That too. But like even before Quinn was military, he was lanky and looked like he was nuts, and he always wore a trench coat and carried knives on him. So I mean, once again,
right.
Quinn looks scary. I'm big. No one wants to mess with a group with
a former football player.
Yeah, too.
So if you're gonna rob me, prepare to get.
You're gonna get tackled.
You're gonna get tackled by a guy who weighs 250 pounds, and it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
But like Vegas is just like, if you're gonna try and enjoy Vegas, have lots of money and don't go outside. Unless you're somehow really good at ignoring the army of people trying to hand you escort cards. If you can ignore that problem, then you're going to enjoy the Vegas Strip.
I mean, I live close to New York, so
how
probably wouldn't used to it.
Those TV people, like Discovery and Travel Channel and whatnot, how do they film all that? Walking around without filming a single person, just handing them those things. It's like, you probably noticed that is like the single thing that annoys me most about the city. That and the neighborhood that surrounds it isn't very good.
Oh no,
the Vegas Strip. Because
that's true.
So that's actually something that I wanted to bring up, and the Bombcast brought this up a while ago, and it's like, first off, you don't want to be if you are not from there, you do not want to be in Reno or Vegas for more than 48 hours, and you need to go to and both of those cities are great unless you can't leave. If you have the money to just leave Reno, great. Fucking go gamble for a little bit and hang out at Lake Tahoe. It's awesome. But if you are trapped...
Actually, that's one of the things that Reno does have, is that Lake Tahoe is beautiful.
But if you are, like, trapped in Reno or Las Vegas, it's fucking a nightmare. Like, it's fucking horrible nightmare that needs to end.
All right, guys, it's like 1 o'clock. I'm going to sleep.
Well, actually, we're about to close up here because we're out of news stories.
Okay. Questions?
Yeah, we have a question. We have a question, and then
Anthony might as well answer the question in our PS4 news article also.
Oh yeah, that we should bring that one up too. And I got one in the Wii U article too. So, we got questions, Kyrie. Then we're done.
Okay.
So.
All right, let's get to it.
All right, let me pull up the boom. Pull up all the links. All right, so I'll read the one from Bronson Rants first, so I can directly answer this. Nintendo would be smart not to lose the gamepad, period. Removing it entirely will disable or botch most of their games in the Wii U library. The gamepad also provides alternate features for like off-screen play, not a system-selling factor, but one up on the PS4/Xbox One by default. All right, so I'll address that first. Yes, but it makes... First off, most of those games don't really use the gamepad for gameplay in any meaningful way besides Nintendo Land and Zombie U. So yeah, they can just patch those. Second off, or just say, hey, these games need a gamepad to run. And that both of those games are so old, no one would really give a shit. Next off is PS4 does off-screen play, and so far
Yeah,
this is just making
$250 accessory. Yes.
$200. Thank you very much.
Does it come with a memory card?
Yes.
Okay. $200 accessory, which doesn't make it that much better.
It comes with a memory card in the game, so everyone can shut up now. Oh shit, we forgot about that news story. Okay, yeah, I'll pull that.
Oh yes, the new PlayStation Vita.
Yeah, which I want to talk about that trailer real quick for because it made me laugh. Oh god. All right, but real quick, back to the comment. So also sticking with the gamepad gives more options in the future. Maybe Nintendo's next system can be backwards compatible with the gamepad, and the next-gen systems won't have to bear the cost of a brand new high-expense controller for consumers. Much like PS3 bit the bullet investing in Blu-ray now, a more costly, friendly standard in the future PS4. So here's why I'm going to say no. If Nintendo does a Power PC architecture again, or not even Power PC, what is that thing? That's that Power PC, right?
The Wii U?
Yeah, Wii U.
It's Power PC.
Okay, if Nintendo does a Power PC architecture again, like, I will literally just walk out of the E3 press conference. I would, like, because by that time, we'll be there, we'll be sitting in that E3 press conference, and I would literally just walk out.
That's a bit unfair, don't you think?
No. Just no. I'm just, like, I'll be so done. Like, I will, like, unless I'm the only one there reporting on it, I will be...
I really don't see much of the...
So...
I'm okay with them using the Power PC architecture because if it is modern and isn't whacked, like in the way the Wii U's is, I think it will be okay.
Yeah, that's true. It's just how they use it.
I understand that the Power PC is very different from x86. But it's just that in the case of the Wii U, it's a little annoying because of the way they set it up. It's just weird. You've got 3 cores, which may not seem that weird until you realize that they have asymmetrical cache allocation. You got 1 core with 512, 1 core with 512, and the main core with 1 megabyte. The rest are like 512 kilobytes. And this architecture is a multi-core and enhanced version of the Wii's processor, which is a enhanced version of the GameCube processor, which is a modified version of a PowerPC architecture that you would find in a 1998 iMac computer.
All right, so
which is the part that kind of blew our minds.
Also, like, them getting rid of the tablet now doesn't mean they can't bring it back in their next console when it would be cheaper to do so. Anyway, and mentioning games like Pokemon, that one has been begged for years. If Nintendo did a proper Pokemon game for Wii U, a full-fledged RPG, you'd expect the Wii U to almost wipe the floor with this competition.
Small comment, can you slow down your reading, please?
Okay, yes.
Because you're just like, Pokemon Wii U, and I'm like,
And mentioning games like Pokemon, that one has been begged for years. If Nintendo did a proper Pokemon game for Wii U, a full-fledged RPG, you can expect Wii U to almost wipe the floor clean with PS4/Xbox One. That franchise alone is that popular. It's only a matter of if Nintendo takes these kind of opportunities. Wii U has all the potential it needs. Nintendo just needs to use it. I think that a Pokemon game would sell very well and sell a lot of systems. I don't think it would carry it the way that it needs to be carried.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to wipe the floor.
Yeah.
Pokemon is huge. It is very, very huge.
But like peak Pokemon was when we were kids, and it's a lot of N64s. It didn't make N64 king.
All right, guys, for real, I'm exhausted. I want to go to sleep.
We're almost done. I swear to God.
Come on, I'm like so tired.
All right, So,
I mean, Pokemon Coliseum also existed on the GameCube, and that didn't exactly, and that was like pretty much the closest I've seen to an actual traditional Pokemon adventure game that happened on a game console. And that didn't exactly make GameCube sell like hotcakes either.
Yep. Wii U has outsold lifetime sales of Xbox 360 in Japan, whoop-de-dee, and Xbox One will never make a dent in Japan, so there's room for the Wii U to penetrate. Penetrate. With hard work, Nintendo... That woke Kyrie up. With hard work, Nintendo may have a profitable future cut out for Wii U indeed. Yeah... I think they're going to need a pretty big turnaround or a lot of good software. I do agree that I think they can compete in Japan, similar to how the Vita is staying alive because of Japan. Like, just no doubt about it. As for our article on the PS4 sales so far, PS4 made Twitch bigger than its parenting company, Justin TV, so it had to rebrand itself and call it Twitch Interactive. Not surprised. We actually did a live stream this past Thursday or Friday, and I believe a whole 15 of you bothered to come and watch that and got to watch me play Outlast and scream like a little girl. Yeah, no, Anthony, you would have laughed your ass off. There was this dude in a wheelchair who looked dead, and I went over to him, and he jumped out, and I just yelled, "Sweet Jesus!" And then I got chased down a hallway by a giant monster, and like in that game you can't fight anything, so everything is terrifying, and you just have to hide. And I hid in a locker, and he like opened the locker next to me and then left, and I was just scared to death.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. All right. So. Reed Buddha says, I guess I'm the minority that enjoyed the long cutscenes and beautiful story inside Metal Gear 4. People forget that Metal Gear is just an interactive novel, a beautiful story with the treats of gameplay. That's just me, though. Number one. Or hashtag.
Well, I wouldn't call it an interactive novel, because it's still a stealth game at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Beautiful story.
I'd say it's a really good story. I think
it's a very good story. I mean, it's just really open to interpretation. Like I just think the story is really stupid, but it works very, very well, which is why I like it a lot.
It works really well, and if you played the previous games, that game's story is fucking amazing.
I mean, I believe I had to play that game like 2 or 3 times to get what they're talking about, because they do that massive link all previous games.
Which is awesome. Like, if you're like Aaron and I, especially if you're like Aaron, where he played all 4 of them straight, it was so cool. But I don't know, I like the long cutscenes in Metal Gear, but like at points in Metal Gear 4, it was just like, okay, guys, come on, please.
One debriefing cutscene, I had dinner, and it was only half over.
Yeah, like there have been points where, like, I remember when I played that game for the first time on my cousin's PS3. I was borrowing it for a week, and this is when my room was still down in a basement. And I literally went up. I paused it, went upstairs, made a meal, and ate that meal during the cutscene, and then paused it again, got dessert, and ate dessert, and it was still going.
Yeah.
Right.
Alright, seriously, I'm exhausted. Let me go to sleep.
Alright, we're on our last news story. This is our very last
news
one.
Story?
Yeah, we forgot something important.
Oh, come on.
Alright, Vita. PlayStation Vita is getting a new bundle in North America, and they are releasing the Slim Vita. It is a Borderlands 2 limited edition. It is $200.
Oh my god, fuck that.
It comes with Borderlands 2 and all 6 DLC packs, along with 8 gigs of memory. And it also has a built-in... These new models have a built-in 1 gig of memory, so total, you're probably going to be 8 gigs after formatting. Anthony, does this make you want to buy a Vita? Someone who doesn't own one.
That's a hard question to answer. I don't know yet.
So one thing about this is it's thinner, it has longer battery life, it's lighter. But one complaint is they took out the OLED screen for an LCD. That said, a lot of people who have experienced it are saying the LCD screen is actually, it's not necessarily better, but it will have a longer life, and also in some games, like Killzone, it looks more natural. So, I don't know, I guess there are some bonuses to it. I find this trailer that they put out for it hilarious, though, because they show a bunch of games. It's like Final Fantasy X HD coming out in March, Wolf Among Us Vita coming out spring, Conception 2 coming out April, Dust Force, Fez, Metrico, Tearaway, Persona 4 Golden, the God of War and Sly Cooper collections, Spelunky, Killzone, so MLB The Show. Now, out of all those games, Borderlands 2 being the last one, all of those games you can play elsewhere.
That's what I thought.
Except for, like, Tearaway and Killzone. And one of those games, and out of the upcoming and current good games on it, one of them was released in November 2012. Granted, Persona 4 Golden should be on every advertisement for that system because it is the best game on the system by a country mile. Or any system. But, I don't know. Like, I like the Vita. I really do. I'm currently playing an exclusive to the Vita right now for review. Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. But... Christ almighty, you guys need some heavy hitters. Though I could see this Borderlands thing being appealing to people. Because a lot of people like Borderlands. I think Borderlands would actually be a really good fit for an on-the-go style game. And it also has cross-save with the PS3 version. So let's say you're at home, you do a couple quests, and then you can transfer it over to your Vita and keep playing it. So that's kind of cool. You know, there's a lot of indie games. I'm very pro Vita. In fact, I'm actually thinking about writing an article either on the Vita itself or the best games on the Vita right now. So, I don't know. Anthony, what's your opinion?
Like I said, I really don't know if I want a Vita or not. It's something I need to think about for a while. As for the Borderlands 2 bundle, that's assuming that people haven't played every single bit of Borderlands already.
That's true, but I always found playing some games on a portable... Like, this is why we separate...
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's Borderlands 2 on the Vita, and Borderlands 2 has been out for a while now. Like, it's been out for over a year now. So, you're hoping that when people play this game, buy the Vita with Borderlands 2... maybe the correct way to say it, I don't know if Borderlands 2 is the correct game to bundle with the Vita, because you're kind of making the assumption that people are buying this who are either have not played Borderlands 2 or they've already played it but haven't done everything. But Borderlands 2 has been out for a long time now.
Out of all the games they're advertising in this trailer, the one I would have packed in, other than Persona 4, would have been Tearaway. And the reason I say Tearaway is because that is a game that is very much going to be in our best game we forgot about last year shit. And it's all a case of it uses every function of the Vita. It is the first game I have played in a very long time that makes a case for why touch screens and cameras aren't stupid. Okay? And Anthony, you know I hate those things. So the fact that I'm actually saying that about that game probably says something. You know, so it makes a very good case for that, and it's just fun, and it's very happy. It reminds me of a Mario game, because like the goal is to get early in the game is to get to the sun, and the front-facing camera on the Vita makes your face the sun. So it's you are God, and like your face is in the sun, and it's hilarious. The other game I would have done is Final Fantasy X. but that's mainly because it also has a bundle in Japan. But I don't know. So, Anthony, are you gonna cave on a Vita yet?
You asked me that question for the third time in the last 10 minutes.
Well, you keep saying I don't know. Let's do it.
I need to think about it, okay? And now it's not a good time because I'm passing out.
All right.
Yeah, I'm dying.
All right. Kyrie, you have been relieved of duty.
Alrighty.
Say bye, everyone.
Duty. Bye. Good night.
All right, everyone. Anthony, you have anything closing to talk about? Or are we good?
Not much I can think of right now, really.
I think I know what's going to end up getting you a Vita. I think I know what it'll be.
What?
And it is going to be at one point they're going to do another price cut sometime down the line, and it won't be you buying one. It'll be because this price cut will probably be a year or two down the line, and I will finally want you to play Persona 4, so I'll be like, fuck it, I'll buy a used one and Persona 4 Golden, and like that'll be your Christmas gift for like 3 years.
So that's how I get a Vita, is that someone buys me one.
Yes.
And I will have to accept it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. The Slim looks pretty cool. Like I like the way
The Slim basically looks like a redesigned Vita, which is the whole point actually.
Yeah.
Thinner, lighter is nice. Longer battery life is always nice.
Yeah. Longer battery life is good. One thing I will say about the Vita is these are two very minor things that a lot of people, it might not appeal to them, but I love it. The fact that it is turning into a portable PS1/PS2. You have all the PS1 classics on PSN, and then they keep porting over the collections of PS2 games. I mean, we have the God of War collection, the Sly collection, Jak and Daxter. Like, they're just porting all these over, and I'm just kind of like, well, I'm not going to stop you because I enjoy all these really great PS2 games, and playing them portable is a different way to play them. And then the other thing is indie games. A lot of indie games I really like, but I play them and I'm like, man, this would actually be more at home on a portable. And this pretty much allows that to happen. Like a perfect example is Spelunky. Like, tons of people play Spelunky on the Vita. I put a crap ton of time into Hotline Miami on the Vita. So, all right, I think that's it. I'm gonna refresh the page to see if Sod Kratos did his usual last second comment thing, but we might have to call tonight. Okay, that'll be it. This has been Unscripted Access. We're on YouTube. We're on iTunes. You should go to both those places and rate us 5 stars.
Subscribe.
You really should write reviews for us on iTunes. Because if we have a high average of enough 5-star reviews, we're going to be one of those top gaming podcasts on iTunes.
Honestly, I found it really surprising we weren't even top 100.
Well, there's a reason that is. It's because it pulls the ranking from your reviews, but we don't have enough reviews to be ranked.
What?
Yeah.
I thought it was like one of those clicks.
No,
kind of leaderboard things.
No, to even get ranked, you need enough reviews. Then it goes off how many people listen to it. So
we hadn't even been considered because no one wants to talk about how awesome we are.
Exactly.
Start talking about how awesome we are.
Yes, exactly. Go on to iTunes, rate us 5 stars, talk about how rad we are. So that way more people can be graced by our awesomeness, and then they will tell more people, and it'll be a snowball effect.
Yay, snowball effects.
Snowball.
I love snowballing in League of Legends is one of my favorite things. Is when I play a character that can snowball really
Anthony.
hard.
Anthony.
What?
Okay.
What? Did I say something wrong?
Yes, you did. Snowballing. Think back to Clerks.
No, don't remember that joke.
Oh my god. I can't. It's. Well, rewatch Clerks again, and then a lot of people are gonna get why it's dirty and hilarious.
Oh, I'm really sorry.
I love snowballing.
Okay, look. Oh man, that was not what I meant when I said snowballing.
Oh. Don't worry.
I was basically talking the gameplay concept of snowballing in League of Legends, where if you get more, which when you start getting kills, it basically starts this snowball effect of indestructibility. Kind of, I don't know. You get the point. Well, great.
All right. So, anyway, that's been that. So, yeah. Good night. We'll be back next week.